on there, YouTube? In this video, I'm just going to kind of do a more extensive breakdown of the scale garage, kind of tell you about everything. I've had a lot of requests for information about the scale shop and how I built it and where I got some of the stuff in it. So this video I'm going to do a current walkthrough. I've done a couple of these before, but just like the builds, the shop is always changing and I'm always adding and doing stuff to it. So here we go. Alright, so start with the basic construction. That's probably the most common question I get. I hope you can hear me over the rain outside. It's storming pretty good here right now. And right here behind my workbench are old doors, and that is directly outside, so it's kind of noisy. I started this project, it's been at least maybe 2 years now. I've almost had the channel 3 years. It seems like it was just the other day, and I decided I'd give this a shot. But I frequent the local Habitat for Humanity resale store, and they sell, their foundation builds homes and repairs homes for families in need and stuff like that, and they sell off their extra building supplies and people donate to them and they sell. It's like a thrift hardware store basically. So there's one locally and I go to it all the time, just look for pieces of wood and stuff like that to build. My entire workshop, all my workbenches and the bench here that the scale garage is set up on is all built from wood that I got out there. These tabletops were, I got those for like $5 a piece. I cut some down and made my entire workbench in my workshop with it. But the garage itself is, the base is 1/2 inch MDF. It used to be one piece. Back when I was doing the semi-trucks, I built a second garage and put this one on top of it, and I cut it in half. So it does have a seam down the middle now, but that was one giant sheet. You see I've got burns and it's stained and it's just like a real garage floor. I painted it with a, I thought it was primer, but it's got kind of a gloss to it. It's just like a gloss gray. And it used to be a lot more textured, but now having the cars and working on it for a couple years, it's very smooth like a garage floor would be. And like I said, I just painted over, the MDF is pretty smooth. I just painted over it and tried to make it look like a garage floor. Didn't really know what I was doing at the time. The walls, let me bring you around over here. Oop. The walls are 3/4 inch MDF. And the only reason they're thicker is because that's what I had. I found those pieces I didn't even cut. They were that size when I found them, and I just made it work. They're drilled and screwed from the base, front and back. There's probably 3 or 4 on each side. Now I didn't want a full garage. I didn't want to have a roof and all 4 sides and doors because you can't get into it. You can't use it. And plus the lighting, I'd have to put scale lighting in it, and it'd just be very hard to film with. And the way I did this with just 2 sides, it worked out very well for filming and the lighting and stuff I have in my shop. Bring you around the back, show you kind of behind the scenes. You can see my window is very crudely cut out. That was a later addition. I've got some screws. You can see it says $2 on it. That piece of wood I got for $2. I just keep some stuff back here. I usually keep my drills setting right here. There's just enough space for that. The back wall back there, the big dirty 4x4 post, was part of the other shop that I built. It didn't used to be there, but I had it on there so good I didn't want to go through the trouble of taking it off, so left it there. It kind of adds more of a backdrop. Okay, so on the details of the wall, I went with the basic exposed stud look. Like a lot of garages aren't finished out. They're not typical like 2x4s. They're this square 1/4 inch craft wood. You can pick this up at any Hobby Lobby or Michael's. They come in different lengths. I think I already had all these cut down to the right length for studs. And that's all just using wood glue. I glued them on, and then I did my cross beams staggered like you would see in a real house, because you can't put them in the end because you can't nail it from the back side. So they're all staggered like that. Just trying to make it look like real framework wood in a home. Like I mentioned earlier, the window was a later addition. I got that at Hobby Lobby. It was for doll houses. I bought a door. I still have that laying around here somewhere in one of my junk bins. but the door wasn't the right scale for the shop. That window for dollhouse size was really, probably like a big front window in a house. So in here, with the scale that I'm running, it looks like just a small side window you would have in a garage. It's not anything big. So the door was too small. The door only came up about to here, and it just didn't look right. So I opted not to go with that. What else? These shelves and this workbench are built out of craft wood as well. These are kind of a rectangular piece, also available at hobby stores. I think these come in this length. That one is a little bit longer. I think I bought a pack of these at Hobby Lobby. They came pre-cut and in a pack of like 12 or 15 or something. And I just used that. I used some, I cut some little angles out of some scrap pieces and made the shelves. And they're all just glued together and glued on the wall. It's plenty strong for what I need. Not really holding any weight. It's all for... So yeah, the shelves are all just glued together using regular old yellow wood glue. All this wood is pretty lightweight. I think the frame is balsa, the framing, the studs. The other ones, I don't know what they are. They're very lightweight as well. You can tell by the way they hit the ground. But yeah, the shelves, it was a later addition. I had scrap pieces left. I figured I needed some shelves above my workbench to hold some of the items I got. On this shelf, I've got some of my Rubbermaid totes. I found those on eBay. Those are actually Rubbermaid brand keychains. And they actually say Rubbermaid on them. They're pretty cool. I've got these strapped to some of my crawlers, things like that. Other odds and ends I've just picked up along the way. Some of the little glass bottles, like these little green bottle, those are dollhouse accessories. A lot of stuff I've gotten from Top Shelf Hobbies on eBay. Oil filters, the 3D printed, I've got like the Lucas oil, and they got flashlights, and all that stuff's 3D printed. It's not the best detail, just it's got some stickers on it to kind of add to the realism. Some of the newer stuff I've got from Top Shelf Hobbies, like this bottle of like wiper fluid here, that's not 3D printed. That's actually a molded piece. It looks clear. It's really cool. Just another layer of detail. The paint cans I think were from Top Shelf Hobby. They actually have Krylon labels on them. But other than that, it's just odds and ends you would find in a workshop. This Coleman lantern was a keychain. It actually does light up. This little snap-on hand cleaner thing came with the snap-on toolbox. Just a little plastic bin full of spare spacers and O-rings, just odds and ends that I've had laying around. Just junk you'd find on a shelf, and it's kind of all in a jumbled mess like my real shop. My big mouth bass here. That I got the fish with the adventure wheels set from Walmart. It came with a canoe and a kayak and a little guy and the fishing poles. And some of the stuff was cheesy looking, but I painted my kayak, or my canoe. It's around here somewhere. Got my adventure wheels canoe. I painted it green, silver edging, kind of looked like a traditional canoe. And you've seen that around strapped on top of the Blazer and other builds throughout the time. But that set also came with the two fish, because it came with a little guy and a fishing pole and a net. And the fish were kind of cheesy, but I painted the inside of his mouth red, so he looks more like a taxidermied fish. And I made a little plaque out of styrene and just brushed some brown and black wash all over it to make it look like kind of a wood grain. And I hung it on the wall. And it's just got some fuzzy dice hanging from it, just because I didn't have a rearview mirror in the rig at the time when I bought those, so I just hung them on the wall. Over by the window, I've got spare license plate up there, just sitting. I've got some emblems in the window frame, most of which fall over. There's a Chevy emblem from the Blazer, a diesel emblem from the Cruiser emblems, and I think there's a Hilux emblem up there as well. Again, the workbench, same construction. It's the flat pieces on top, some square posts. I don't have any extras of those to show you. But it's all the same craft wood, get it Hobby Lobby. Alright, so stuff around the workbench, not anything real exciting. I've got underneath just another plastic tote with a dirty dollhouse, like looks like a 7-Eleven Big Gulp cup. Just junk I've found throughout the years. These little welding tanks were with a 1/24 scale set. You can't see those. There's the trash can. And the welding tanks were with a 1/24 scale, like, garage shop set. I did just get this RC 4-wheel drive toolbox. The finish on it is terrible. It's got bare spots all over it. And the handle broke on the tray inside. It wasn't even welded on one side. Kind of disappointed with that. And it's a little bit bigger than most of my other bench top things, so I think I'll probably repaint that because it looks really bad. It's like just a light dusting of red paint on bare metal. Got more dollhouse stuff. Little dollhouse tool set. Bunch of hand tools, basic stuff. A few odds and ends, water bottle. Little just random, I think that's like a cap from a hairspray that I've got back here. And these little screwdrivers, I have no idea where those came from. They were in a friend's just pile of junk. I don't know what they were. I think they might have been like a cheap eyeglass repair kit. They look perfect for the scale, so I stuck them up there. Got a few hot rod parts, just Yoda 2 diff cover. Scale packages were dollhouse, and that little red toolbox in the corner was with that 1/24 scale set. Underneath, I've got a couple of the Proline things and some more 3D printed stuff. Just things I've accumulated along the way. Nothing super exciting. Just junk you'd find crammed under a workbench. Propane tank, a keg, a bucket full of 3D printed sponges and soap for like washing your car. Now I've got my RC 4-wheel drive ARB refrigerator because I don't have a rig to really put it in. Moving on. One of my favorite bits is my bench vise there. That was from Top Shelf Hobbies as well. It is kind of brittle. I had to glue the handle back on it. It doesn't function. And I just glued it to the corner of my workbench. Looks right at home. Looks like something that would really be there. Probably my favorite thing in the shop is my Snap-on toolbox. I've talked about this one before. That was nearly $100 on eBay. It's a coin bank, but the thing is legit. I mean, the side drawer open, or the cabinet opens. It's got a couple drawers that open. It comes with some tools in the drawer. It's really a neat piece, and I've sticker bombed that a little bit with scale stuff. Anytime I get an accessory, you know, all RC 4-wheel drive stuff comes with scale stickers for their brand name products, and just over the years added stuff to it. Some stickers I've had made and things like that. So just add to the real effect. I've got stickers all over my real toolboxes in my workshop, and it's one of those little things I like to do. I think a lot of people do that. My big light went out. I had a very yellow fluorescent light that I had over the back corner of the shop, and it quit working on me the other day. It's kind of disappointing because it really added to the effect. It looked like a shop light. But yeah, I need to work on that here before long. But some of the newer additions in the back corner here, the Genuine Chevy Parts sign and my K5 fenders. Now, all of my signs, that Genuine Chevy Parts and my Route 66 and that Chevy sign, are from Hobby Lobby. And they're sold as fridge magnets, but they're actually embossed like real vintage signs would be. And I just stuck them up there with some servo tape. Figured, what the hey. Just another thing you'd find in a real garage. My roll-up door. My roll-up door, I don't remember what exact styrene it is, but it's 2 pieces of styrene. It's corrugated. It's like you would use on a HO scale metal roof type corrugated. And I saw those at my local hobby shop, and I just thought that was the perfect texture for a metal roll-up door. If I can get you back there a little better, get some more light. And you can see the texture in it. I used a 3/4 inch dowel rod for the tube at the top, and because those roll-up doors, they roll up into a self-contained unit at the top, so I needed something up there. And the chain, there is a chain there. It's hard to see. If I can bring you around a little bit. The chain is just an old silver necklace that I found laying around. So it looks like a real, you pull the chain and roll up the door. And yeah, figured that looks good enough. It doesn't function, but you know what, if I have that open, there's nowhere for it to go anyway. It's just all for the look. Moving around the wall, I've got my Axial SCX 10.2 cow horns. I painted those up trying to make them look like, I mixed some colors and trying to make it look like a real horn would look. Those K5 fenders, I had that spare body from when I chopped up to make the K10 cab and bed. And the cab was cut up, but the fenders were still good, so I cut the fenders off, painted them, weathered them, and just hung them up as wall art. Same with my Hilux door. That came with a body that I bought with my Bruiser chassis. I just added some weathering to it and trying to make it look old and rusty. Alright, so stuff on the ground back there. I've got a replica vintage gas pump. I've had that thing for 30 years. My parents got those for me from some catalog thing. Just kind of decoration. It is actually glass and metal. And it's just something I found in a box when I moved into my house, and I was like, hey, I'll throw that in the shop. In the floor is a scale toolbox. They are gift card holders from, you can get them at Tractor Supply and Home Depot and Lowe's sometimes. I've got a bunch of those. I used to use them on my Tonka trucks. They fit perfectly in the bed of the vintage Tonka trucks. And I've got a handful of them laying around. I used to sell them on eBay. So I got one of those tucked back there. That little generator is from like the off-brand G.I. Joe. I found that at a flea market in a bin for like $1, and I weathered it. There's a whole video about weathering that, just kind of showing some of my process. The bucket, another 3D printed item. The brooms and the mop, just happened to find those at a flea market, mixed in with like Barbie stuff, and just kind of the junk toy bins where everything's like a nickel or something like that. Trash can. It's a very good size scale trash can. That was from Dave & Buster's, one of their silly little prizes you get with your coupons. I've had that for quite a while. The blanket was with some hot rod stuff. My newest addition is a Napa toolbox back there. And I haven't decorated that. I haven't really done anything with it yet. So I just added that here recently when I added the lift. But I've got a dustpan laying on the edge of it. Back over there is my vintage Coke machine. That was another eBay item. Those are musical coin banks. I think it's a coin bank. It may just be musical. I don't remember. But some of the levers move and stuff like that. I took the batteries out because it was obnoxious. But yeah, it's the perfect size, and it's the little door opens and it looks pretty legit. You can see bottles inside the little door. Let me see if I can open that for you. So it's like a real machine, and I don't remember how it opens. I haven't messed with it in a while. It's got quite a bit of dust on it. But other than that, in the background I've just got a pallet. So if I can just show you. There's a pallet back there that used to be a stack of Post-it notes. It was one of those marketing tools, and the pallet had a stack of paper on it for a paper company. It had their logo on the side, and I just ripped all the paper off and used the pallet. I was using it with my semi-trucks back in the day, but unfortunately I never did find a whole lot more of those because I wanted to do a whole trailer load. Back in the back there I've got my tire rack from eBay from China. It was like $4. It's all aluminum, and it holds, I got some 1.9s in there. Not anything over about 4 inches, but it's pretty nice. I got stacks of tires everywhere, and it's a bunch of junk. That's kind of my junk corner. You've probably seen the recent video with the lift. Where did I don't remember what brand this is now. I think I have the box around here somewhere, maybe. Yeah, here it is. Really nice lift. It's all aluminum, very solid. That is a DC 1/10 scale aluminum 2-point stand. I think that was about $80-90 shipped out of China. And I tell you, it's worth every penny. That thing is just awesome. It's fully adjustable. Like I said, it doesn't function, but it's fully adjustable. You can have it low, have it high. I use it to help store hot rod parts out here. Yeah, let's let my little RC 4-wheel drive cart. It doesn't roll very well, but it looks good. It's got some random tools on it. That's about it. Not a whole lot to the shop. I I get a lot of people asking me how I built it, and it's just very simple. Just pieces of wood, screwed and glued. Play with the lighting a little bit, angle of the camera, and you can't even tell that there's no roof. If I can get the camera to focus. It doesn't like that door. There we go. And it works out well for what I do here on the channel. Oh, well, I use this as a giant lamp, magnifying lamp. I don't know where you get those. My mom had that forever from her days of manufacturing. And I've got that and an extra bulb, and it's been great. It's on this arm so I can move it around when I need to shoot, do pictures. I can bring it light right where I need it. I can put it just out of camera shot so I get really good lighting in dark places, like back there in the corner. But I don't think there's anything else. It's really it. I mean, there's a few other odds and ends. Got that fan on top. That's just a dollhouse thing. You can find scale stuff everywhere. There's huge category for it on eBay now. If you just search under radio control and control line, just type in scale garage or scale RC or scale crawlers. You'll get a mix of all kinds of realistic scale items, some 3D printed, some repurposed from other toys, and there's just hundreds of pages of that stuff. And I spent a lot of time searching through and buying odds and ends over the past few years. Some little things I've had forever, stuff I've had from when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. And it's just a culmination of all the little odds and ends you can think of to make your shop your own. But yeah, that's really it, guys. I'm kind of taking the weekend off, but I've had more than a handful of requests for this, so I figured I would share. I've been out working on my real car, putting the air ride on my 58 Chevy. I'm about halfway through. Need another good full weekend to get that wrapped up. But yeah, hopefully I'll get back in here and get to work soon. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. I'm kind of taking a break on some big projects, waiting on some parts for the number 3 rat rod. Got a lot of exciting stuff coming with that. New products, working with some new people. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate everybody subscribed. We're almost at 8,000 now. It's massive. This time last year I had barely broken 1,000 subscribers, so every year it just keeps increasing and just going up exponentially. I'm glad to have all you new guys. I hope this catches you up a little bit, answers some of your questions, and that's it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.